No calls. No messages. Not even a passive-aggressive emoji in the family group chat. I sat alone in my condo, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view that made strangers gasp when they visited. The kind of place you only dream of when you come from hand-me-downs and skipping meals to pay rent. The kind of place that says, I made it. And I had. I'd built a tech startup from my bedroom floor. Sold it for $28 million. Then turned that into $102 million by the time I turned 31. Which was today. I stared at the cake I'd bought myself, single layer, lemon and lavender, from a local bakery that charged $85 a slice for wedding tears. The candles flickered even though the windows were shut. I'd sent my family reminders a week before. Not because I needed gifts. Not because I was desperate for attention. But because a small part of me still hoped they'd remember. Still hoped they'd see me as more than just the quiet one who got lucky. My older brother had sent a photo of a golf course. Guess where? My sister posted a boomerang from some yacht party. No caption. My mother posted a Bible verse on Facebook. Not even close to relevant. But none of them said the words. Not happy birthday. Not even HBD. I blew out the candles. Not for a wish. Just to put them out. That was the moment. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just a soft, private click in my chest. They'd forgotten again. And I was done pretending it didn't hurt. I reached for my phone and opened my financial access portal. Every family member, my mother, my brother, my sister, 2 cousins, was on a monthly stipend. A quiet thank you they never asked about, never acknowledged, but happily spent. I pressed one button. Suspend all transfers. Indefinitely. It started 2 weeks later. My sister, Olivia, called first. Bright voice, fake sweet. Hey. I just realized we haven't talked in ages. How are you? I smiled into the silence. I'm good, I said simply. How's the yacht? She paused. What? Your story. On my birthday. Looked fun. Oh, right, she laughed awkwardly. Was that your birthday? I didn't answer. She pressed on. So, weird question, my card got declined at brunch yesterday. Do you know if the bank's been having issues? No, I said. My accounts are running fine. Another pause. A little longer this time. Well, can you check? Just in case? I didn't check. I didn't need to. I just said, you'll figure it out. The next day, it was my brother. Less charm. More entitlement. I'm not sure what game you're playing, he snapped. But I've got a mortgage payment due. Maybe call Mom, I replied. He scoffed. You think she's got money? You're the one sitting on a fortune while the rest of us forgot I existed. I cut in. Silence. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult him. I just asked, calmly, how many birthdays of mine have you remembered in the last 5 years? He didn't answer. Just hung up. A week passed. Then my mother called. Not to say sorry. Not to ask how I was doing. But to tell me I was being cruel. You can't just cut off your family, Amelia, she said. That's not how we treat each other. I almost laughed. What family? The people who raised you, who love you. I stared out the window, the city sparkling like a promise I'd made to myself a long time ago. Love looks like something, I said. And this? This isn't it. Then I hung up. The knock came on a Tuesday. Not a holiday. Not a birthday. Just a quiet morning with coffee brewing and soft jazz playing through my smart speaker. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, my sister was standing there. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Eyes red. She looked smaller than I remembered. Can I come in? I didn't answer. Just stepped aside. She sat on the edge of the couch like it might bite her. Looked at her hands. Then finally looked at me. I was selfish, she whispered. We all were. We didn't mean to forget. I think, we just assumed you didn't need us. I didn't speak. She shook her head. That's not an excuse. You always showed up. Every graduation. Every hospital visit. Every stupid crisis I texted you about at midnight. I sat across from her, arms crossed. But birthdays don't matter, right? She winced. They matter. You matter. I think, we just got used to you taking care of everything. So we stopped taking care of you. That landed. I let the silence stretch. She didn't try to fill it. Didn't ask for money. Didn't mention the cut-off. Just sat there, letting the weight of everything settle in. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out something. A photo. Bent at the edges. Us. Young. In our childhood backyard. Me with a homemade birthday crown. Her beside me, frosting on her chin. I kept this, she said. I forgot how happy you looked that day. I took it. Held it between 2 fingers like it might vanish. Then I stood. And walked over to the cabinet where I kept the financial files. She looked up sharply. But instead of reaching for the account books, I pulled out a small, wrapped box. Nothing fancy. Just a ribbon and a card. I handed it to her. "Your birthday's next week," I said. I didn't forget. I didn't expect him to show up. Not after the voicemail he left. Not after the way he barked my name on speakerphone like I was a disappointing employee instead of a younger brother. But there he was, Carter, standing outside my glass door in a wrinkled blazer, holding nothing. No flowers. No card. Just pride in his pocket and debt written across his face. "Do you want to come in?" I asked, mostly out of habit. He shrugged. "Might as well. You cut off the heating at the lake house too." I didn't answer that. He stepped inside like he still owned things. Like I hadn't been the one quietly paying the mortgage on that lake house for 3 years after his startup flopped and his pride wouldn't let him say so. "Look," he started, rubbing his jaw. "I didn't come here to grovel." "Great," I said, "because I'm not in the mood to watch that." He rolled his eyes. "You're making a point. I get it. You're mad." "No, Carter," I said, "you don't get it. This isn't about a missed text or a bad year. It's about a pattern." He scoffed. "So you're going to punish the whole family because we missed a date?" "You didn't just miss a date," I said, voice sharp now. "You missed me. Repeatedly. Conveniently. You remembered me when the rent was due. When the car broke down. When the tuition check bounced. But never when there was nothing in it for you." He went quiet. "I don't need apologies," I said. "I don't even need you to understand. I just need peace." He stood still for a moment. Then his voice softened. "You were always the one who showed up. Maybe we took that for granted. Maybe I thought you'd never stop." I let the silence sit. Then I said, "Now you know what that feels like." I didn't plan on opening the safe that night. It was one of those small, fireproof boxes I kept tucked behind old books and financial statements. The kind of thing most people would fill with bonds or spare keys. Mine held only one thing, a letter. I hadn't opened it in years. It was from my father. He passed when I was 19, long before the company, the millions, the silence. Before my family became a transaction and not a connection. Before I stopped hoping they'd remember. The envelope was aged now, edges soft, ink faded slightly. The handwriting was his, sharp, deliberate, proud. "To Amelia, on the day you stop feeling seen." It began like a whisper I'd been waiting to hear. "If you're reading this, it means something has broken. Maybe in the family. Maybe in your heart. But I want you to remember this, you were never invisible to me. I saw you. I saw your strength in silence, your brilliance in the spaces between. You didn't shout. You built. You didn't beg. You created. You are not the echo of your siblings. You are the voice. The foundation. The whole thing." I pressed the letter to my chest, closed my eyes. "One day, they'll come to you. Maybe for help. Maybe for healing. Give them what you can, but don't forget to give to yourself first. They won't understand what it cost you to carry them. But I do. I always did." Tears came quietly, like they always do when the pain is old but still real. I didn't respond to Olivia's text that night. Or Carter's follow-up email. Instead, I wrote checks to myself. Not money. Time. Silence. Boundaries. And for once, I kept them. It was my mother who surprised me. Not with flowers. Not with a public apology. But with something far more complicated. A knock at my office door, this time scheduled, polite. She wore beige, like always, pearls, like armor. She held a manila envelope. "I wanted you to have this," she said, placing it gently on my desk. "It's your father's trust. The one we never discussed." I opened it slowly. Pages of estate records, old property holdings, fund allocations. My name everywhere. But that wasn't the twist. The twist was what came with it, a handwritten amendment. If Amelia reaches 30 and still receives nothing of value from the family, emotionally, not financially, she is to receive controlling interest in the family foundation. My hands trembled. The family foundation, once chaired by my mother, held grants, endowments, influence. Not just wealth. Power. She watched my face carefully. "He wanted you to have it," she said. "He just thought maybe we'd grow into better people by now." "And you didn't," I said plainly. She nodded. "No. We didn't." It wasn't an apology. It was a confession. I signed the paperwork. Quietly. Completely. That night, I stood in my office looking out over the city again. Same skyline. Same silence. But something had changed. I didn't need them to beg. I didn't need their validation. Because I had something they never really understood. Wholeness. Not in spite of them. But after them. I didn't announce it with press releases or speeches. No interviews. No champagne. No smug Instagram posts. I just changed the locks, metaphorically. The foundation was mine now. Not just by paper, but in practice. What had once been a polite shell of tax write-offs and performative charity dinners was being rebuilt into something real. I brought in new board members, people who knew what hunger felt like, who had built futures from couch cushions and borrowed books. Carter called again. Left a voicemail this time. Look, I know you're pissed. But can we talk? Not about money. About us. I didn't respond. Not yet. Olivia emailed me. A longer message. Paragraphs instead of emojis. I realized something last night. We used your name in every room, but never invited you into them. I'm sorry, Amelia. I don't want your accounts. I want your forgiveness. But I'll wait for it. As long as it takes. I read it twice. Then again. Maybe that's when I softened, not for them, but for the version of me that had waited so long for someone to simply see her. I walked into the foundation's headquarters the next day. My father's name still engraved on the door. My name now printed beneath it. I didn't erase him. I didn't need to. But I did add something. A third line. Amelia Langston, reclaimed. Because that's what this was. Not revenge. Not punishment. Reclamation. Spring came earlier than expected. Or maybe I just noticed the warmth more than I used to. I planned a dinner, quietly, intentionally. Not a gala. Not a fundraising stunt. Just a long table under the trees, mismatched chairs, handmade candles, laughter that didn't need to be rehearsed. I invited board members, friends, women from the shelter I'd funded, 2 retired teachers who used to buy supplies from their own salaries. And my family. All of them. I didn't expect them to come. But they did. Olivia arrived first, carrying a pie she had clearly not baked, but had written my name across in shaky icing. Carter came next. Jacket too tight, humility looser than usual. Then my mother. Still in pearls. But this time, without the armor in her eyes. They didn't speak right away. They didn't need to. I led them to their seats. Not at the head. Not in the center. Just among the rest of us. Someone clinked a glass. A soft toast began. To Amelia, one of the teachers said. For building something that didn't ask for applause, but deserved it anyway. They raised their glasses. My family followed suit. Olivia leaned over. Did you ever think it'd come to this? I looked around. The lanterns. The shared dishes. The quiet awe. No, I said. But I stopped needing it to. A year passed. Another birthday. I didn't expect anything. And maybe that was the gift. But at 8:07 a.m., the exact minute I was born, my phone lit up. A message from Carter. Happy birthday, sis. We remember. We always will. A card slid under my door an hour later, Olivia's handwriting, a little crooked. Inside was a photo. Me. Sitting barefoot at that dinner under the trees. Laughing, mid-bite. Radiant in the way I never saw myself, but always hoped someone might. And this time, below it, a line written in my mother's cursive. We didn't know how to love you the right way. But we're learning. Thank you for giving us the chance. I didn't cry. Not then. But when I walked into the kitchen and saw the small cake my team left on the counter, lemon lavender, candles unlit, I paused. Then I lit them. Not for a wish. But to honor the girl who once blew them out alone. And as I stood there in the quiet glow, I whispered. I didn't cut you off to hurt you. I cut you off to remember me. And now, finally, I do.